Hi there. It's December 29th, 2021. I wanted to talk about a few things that I've been looking at and found. This PDF is kind of boring for some and maybe not for others. Um, Written by Raymond Clinturf. I'm probably pronouncing that wrong. Stratospheric warmings, cytotopic, dynamic, and general circulation aspects that came out from NASA in NOAA in 1978. So the link for this PDF is below, and they're talking about specifically stratworms is what they um, made the short version of it. Stratospheric warmings during the past quarter century. And this paper, 175 pages, has a lot of diagrams and descriptions, and part of what they're trying to figure out is what's causing, are these stratworms a natural phenomena, or is it caused by what human beings are doing? And I'm going to show you a couple other items here. The links for this sudden stratospheric warming information, which is from the Encyclopedia of Physical Science and Technology. The stratospheric sudden warming phenomena is a result of wave-mean flow interaction following the rapid amplification of extratropical planetary waves. And then here's some different articles about it. And these are only partial articles. And I only am showing you these because of the rights that I have under that are listed below, the copyright rights. You can get on here and view the whole chapter and the whole information. See, these are a few different articles about this with different dates. This is 2003, for example, with different pictures. And some of this you might want to find out yourself just by looking up something different than here, where you don't have to pay, but you can find the information for free. Okay, let me show you something else. One of the problems with the stratospheric warming is they believe it was caused by depletion of the ozone layer. And so this Montreal Protocol came about. In here, under the Montreal Protocol on substances that deplete the ozone layer, the complete phase-out of methyl bromide uses in the year 2005 for developed countries and 2015 for developing countries. This is from the Encyclopedia of Toxicology, and there's a lot of different articles here also. Prospect for environmental change, the atmosphere, hold on. Okay, so for example, this article talks about the protocol came into force in 1989 and was renewed in 1990. The objective is the progressive elimination of the production and consumption of substances that deplete the ozone layer. Trade measures are highly restrictive. Let's go down past here. Principles and operation of refrigeration heat pump systems. The world's refrigeration comfort control industries depend entirely on decision of global community regarding cooling agents. Several generations of refrigerants have already changed over the past few decades. Substances, which until recently were considered most up-to-date and environmentally safe, have now been withdrawn from use because the belief is that a lot of the refrigerants were breaking down the ozone, and cleaning products, conventional solvents, and other volatile liquids were most commonly used cooling agents for the first 100 years. It says that everything that worked was used. Flammable and toxic and chemically active, and how accidents occurred. So this is a very interesting article about changes that were trying to be made, and things like chlorofluorocarbons and hydrochlorofluorocarbons dominate the second generation. Ammonia has been and remains the most popular cooling agent. But according to the hypothesis of the influence of ultraviolet radiation, the breaking of chlorine and bromine bonds of cooling agents makes them highly receptive to absorbing oxygen. Besides the ozone problem, the emission of certain cooling agents has an impact on the greenhouse effect. The Montreal Protocol identified refrigerants that were destroying the ozone layer and those with the potential of destroying it. So then they are trying to get rid of that stuff, and some of it has been banned. Greenhouse gases include carbon dioxide, methane, nitrous oxide, sulfur hexafluoride, and all synthetic refrigerants. The global warming potential was introduced. Carbon dioxide potential is taken as a unity. So these refrigerants were classified and became outlawed. I want to get to a certain part in here where they're trying to phase out and ban, and I'm going to pause it and find what I'm looking for. Okay, so this is what I was looking for. The Atmosphere, written by Prin and Weiss, Trends in Montreal Protocol Gases and their Replacements. So what they talk about in this article is while their northern hemisphere dominated emissions and hence their north-south gradients have decreased very substantially in response to the Montreal Protocol, their long lifetimes, around 50, 90, and 100 years, and their emissions from banked in landfills mean their sinks can reduce the levels only at about 2%, 1.1%, and 1% every year, respectively. The three major, these chemicals, are replacements for the CFCs and continue to rise in recent years with persistent, significant latitudinal gradients. Rates of rise decreased somewhat in the late 1990s, and consistent with decreases in their emissions from developed countries. Rates of rise then increased again, consistent with increases in developing country emissions. So what they're saying is that even though there's been decreases, there's been some increases again, that it will take a long time before the effects will be felt of changing. And so the ozone is going to be depleted because of that. And so then here it talks about also the cleaning industry, excuse me, has affected the Earth's ozone layer. Okay, so where I'm trying to go here is there have different ideas for how to change the atmosphere so that it isn't heating up. And this article here talks about assessing the direct occupational and public health impacts of solar radiation management with stratospheric aerosols. So it speaks about geoengineering as the deliberate large-scale manipulation of environmental processes that affect the Earth's climate in an attempt to counteract the effects of climate change. Injecting sulfate aerosol precursors and design nanoparticles into the stratosphere has been suggested as one approach to geoengineering. Although much is being done to unravel the scientific and technological changes around geoengineering, there have been few efforts to characterize the potential human health impacts of geoengineering, particularly in regards to this initial is solar radiation management, approaches involving stratospheric aerosols. This paper explores the information gap. This is written by these two people here in 2016. I highly recommend looking at that and reading it because I believe that they've been experimenting with it. But this article here, written in 2018 by Jeff Tolleson, says that the first sun dimming experiment will test a way to cool the Earth. And they're talking about spraying sunlight reflecting particles into the stratosphere. And I'm sorry that part of this article is cut off here. So they were talking about this real lightly, calcium carbonate, the same kind of stuff that we put in our mouth to calm stomach pain, is what they want to spray into the stratosphere. And they're saying it's similar to when a volcano erupts and it cools the atmosphere. I believe that this kind of stuff has been going on for quite a while as experiments that the public hasn't known about, but here they're openly admitting that they're going to try this experiment. And look at how happy these people look. They're going to spray it into the atmosphere. One of the words that I came across relating to all this is this word, and I didn't know how to pronounce it. So I love this on Google, or probably a lot of other browsers, but you can click here.
Anthropocene.
Isn't that great? Anthropocene. Oh, wait.
Anthropocene.
Anthropocene. There. I think I said it right. Relating to or denoting the current geological age, viewed as the period during which human activity has been the dominant influence on climate and the environment. We've become, such as this quote, we've become a major force of nature in this new Anthropocene
Anthropocene.
epoch. Okay, so if in this Anthropocene era, if the atmosphere and the ozone has been changed because of refrigerants and cleaning products that have half-lives that will last for a long time, maybe we should just let them clean themselves naturally and not spray more stuff into the sky. I don't know. What do you think? So, chemtrails now are called stratospheric infusion. And if I Google chemtrails, for example, look up images, these are what show up on my computer. Because of my cookies and stuff, what I click in will look different than what you will see. But these are just examples, and I know if you think about it, that you've seen different pictures of stuff like this in the sky, because I certainly have lots of pictures myself. So, is it a good idea? What do you think? I'm grateful for you, and I'm here at your service. And this is a picture outside of my house just the other day. Certainly, you know, when they say, oh, it's just stuff behind airplanes, you know, I don't care what it is. It's crap in the sky. I don't like it up there. And, you know, what does it do? Float around and stay up there, go off into space, fall down on things? You know, it doesn't make me happy. I'm grateful for you, and I'm here at your service.